Hey there, angry faithful. I just wanted to drop in, bend your ear a little bit, get your attention. So if you're not listening, drop what you're doing and pay attention to me because I'm here to inform you that not only can you get your daily, maybe if you're binging it, I'm not sure, that's entirely up to you, but you can multiply your doses of angry me fuckery by paying attention to all of the platforms upon which you can find either the dulcet tones of my voice and David's voice or my pretty face and David's not so pretty face. Anyways, digressing, we we are on YouTube, we are on Spotify, we're on Rumble, we're on Google, Apple Podcast. We have a TikTok page. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and of course Facebook. So if you find yourself fuckery deprived, curl up with a nice hot mug of shut the fuck up and just listen. Open those ear holes and be prepared to be cream pied like it's the first time. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, Nerd Sports 87. And this is going to be a special one for me and Johnny, but today we're going to talk about sport hawking. It originated, God damn it, fucking words. It originated in Germany. It's a sport hawking is flipping, spinning, and even sliding a brightly colored plastic bar stool. I was thinking about the sport. If previous mentioned information wasn't enough, is it ends of a each trek or combo, the hacker gains respect by sitting back down on the stool like nothing happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a video on that because
I don't know.
It's a German thing, I guess, and like a lot of things that the Germans did, and always will, they over-engineer everything.
I mean, they engineered pretty good the Volkswagen after so many.
Oh yes, the people's car.
All right, I'll send it to you, but we'll watch.
You know, the Volkswagen is nothing more than a knockoff Porsche, right?
Yeah, they're the same company.
Yeah, again, a knockoff Porsche. Yeah.
Which came first, the Porsche or the Volkswagen?
The Porsche.
Really?
I think the Porsche came first because the founder of Porsche was a high-ranking official in the Nazi Party back in the 30s.
I still like what's her name?
Alyssa Milano.
Yes, that whole fucking joke that she's so much an idiot.
Oh, extreme sitting. Oh, so you're seated on the stool and people have to try to knock you. It's barstool. It's barstool. It's like, barstool rodeo.
It's like skateboarding with a stool. Because the tricks you think's
okay. It's got one of those new age kind of minimalistic. You expect to see it in like a hipster's studio apartment in Soho in the middle of New York City kind of thing. Like, sit in here. It's going to be super stupid comfortable. Like, no, it's not. Shut up.
I'm just really curious. What came first?
The chicken or the egg? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. And the Porsche company car from 1920s, and after a while it was PW.
In the original 1930s Volkswagen Beetle was never put into mass production. Fun fact, if Hitler would have waited an extra 3 years to go to war, he would have been able to whip everybody's ass. They would have had time to finish their heavy water projects. They would have had time to, streamline their manufacturing processes.
Yeah, and the heavy water project he's talking about is the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
I know stuff. I know stuff.
So there was a football game on Saturday.
Was there, Johnny? Are you
Oh, there
sure?
was. And
Was it?
let me tell you,
It wasn't until honestly, it wasn't until like the last 10 minutes where it got exciting. It was a good game.
dude, yeah, it was an amazing game.
I
Now,
love
okay,
the one thing
and
you
it
can't pass
wasn't for,
on.
and it wasn't for, dude. Okay. I was emotionally exhausted after this game was over.
Yeah. One after 120 years, there hadn't been
123. The
123
first.
years.
Let me
First,
let me do this. Let me do this. Let me
okay,
do
okay,
this.
okay.
In the history of the Army Navy game, after 123 meetings, this game has never gone to overtime. This year, it did. It went to not only overtime, but it went to double overtime. And
I still the one thing I take away from this it was the Army coach during halftime. He's like, I seriously, I don't even know how we're gonna do this. I don't even know how we got it this far.
he's
I'm
like,
crying.
he goes, no, he goes, our defense is holding serve, but our offense has got to get something going.
Yeah.
That's all there's to it. Now, okay, now going into the game, the Navy defense was ranked 4th in the nation against the rush.
Yeah.
Army attempted 5 passes in the first half, and they went over. Okay. It wasn't until the third quarter that we saw the first completed pass of the game, and that was by Army.
Yeah.
And I think that was for like 8 yards or something like that. But
I mean, we
and
did
for those of you watching on video, yes, this is an authentic World War II steel pot. So yeah, I'm taking it old school for this, and yeah, I'm even John Wayne in my chin strap. And if you don't like it, piss off. Anyways,
but another take back on this is number 20. Dude was a deep.
yeah, okay.
How many times did he kick the fucking players?
No, he tripped. It was one play. One play. No, he tripped. He kicked his leg out, which is an illegal thing to do, and he tripped the Navy quarterback.
They didn't even call it.
Then they didn't call it. Not that this hit game has not had its history of non-calls, because let's go back to last year when Navy won, and their defensive player, I can't remember his first name. I think it's named like Darren or something like that, but Fagot, Fagot, had 3 face masks that were not called, to include the one that closed out the ball game when the Army was going for it on 4th and short. Fagot comes up to the line, meets the Army quarterback, and almost takes the helmet completely off the kid's head.
Yeah.
No call. That should have been a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down, and it could have extended the drive. But it didn't. Fine. All right. Great. You won't hear a lot of Navy personnel or a lot of Navy veterans or a lot of Naval Academy alumni cry foul over that. But this year, there are some people that were like, well, it came down to that non-tripping call or that tripping non-call. Like, well, no, it didn't come down to that. No, it didn't come down to that one call.
No, it came down.
What it came down to
was that fumble.
Yeah, it came down to a goal line fumble. Now, to tell you how much parity is in this game, in this rivalry, the greatest rivalry in sports. Okay. We're not talking about Red Sox and Yankees. We're not talking about we're not talking about the Bruins and the Maple Leafs or the Bruins and the Penguins. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about Lakers and Celtics. All right.
Yeah, this is the rivalry that started it all.
I mean, this rivalry is 123 years old. Okay. Now,
I mean, the only rivalry that actually matches it is the soccer matches on some occasions. And
and here's why. Here's why.
You go ahead.
Yes, I'm throwing a platitude. I'm throwing a bumper sticker, and yes, I am hijacking the shit out of a meme, or that's been floating around for a couple of years now. This unrivaled. I mean, this is unparalleled against any other rivalry in the history of sports. And the reason why I say that is because in no other point in time will the participants on the field die to defend your lives. You get these soccer matches or these football matches that are played overseas, and yes, the crowds, the fan bases, they're into it. The teams
They get
physically hate each
historical.
other, but if you were to sit there, dollars to donuts, probably, I don't know, say maybe 99.9% of everybody who plays soccer around the world would rather play soccer and not give it a second thought to laying down their cleats and picking up a rifle.
I don't know the whole.
I'm not saying that they don't or that they wouldn't if they were given under the right circumstances. But this particular game, this particular rivalry, okay, we're on the same team before and after the, before the first whistle and before the, after the final whistle. We're on the same team. Okay.
Yeah.
I love, I love the pregame and the during the game, like videos that CBS Sports puts together for this. But it's yeah.
All I'm saying is I don't think the Iran team is existing after this year. The team
No,
that
probably not. But
yeah,
getting back to the I'm going to take a break. I'm going to put a pin in the recap of this game because I want to be able to articulate it in my head. And I know I should have had us all planned out beforehand, but something came across yesterday. The athletic director at the Naval Academy fired the football head coach for Navy.
What?
Yeah.
Hasn't been doing that for like 20 years?
Ken Nimatulolulu, I think is how he was fired.
What?
And my dad, and I'm paraphrasing what my dad put out on his Facebook feed because he linked the article on his Facebook page. I mean, it's a chicken shit move, man. It really is. It's a chicken shit move by a very weak and weaselly athletic director. Okay?
How many games has he won? He's won
I mean, he's far and away in that series. He's probably the winningest head coach in the history of the rivalry.
Yeah.
But it
even not to mention that he went close to like 3 years.
He was part of that like 12 or 13 year winning streak.
Yeah.
By the Navy.
Was it 13? I thought it was less than that.
It was like 12 or 13.
Damn.
But to the Navy's credit, I mean, dude, it was an amazing game. I mean, like I said, I was physically and emotionally exhausted from the roller coaster that was this game. My knee is jacked up. I've got an orthopedic appointment coming up next week to figure it out. I could not sit down watching this.
Oh yeah, me and Kenny were like at the last 10 minutes. Me and Kenny were. I mean, I went to go grab something outside. I was like, oh okay, the game's over. Just like, dude, it's on overtime. I was like, fuck, what? And we were just standing up there. We're like, Oh my God. No. Yes.
Now I'll tell
No.
you the single person from both sides that I feel the most heartbroken for is the Navy running back.
Yes.
Now, to understand what that kid must have gone what he
He
must be
was
going
crying
through.
on the
Yeah.
on the
Now,
sideline. They were trying to
flashback to
console him.
flashback to 2017. Army was driving where they chanced to win the game. Their senior quarterback fumbles the ball at the goal line. Navy recovers to win the ball game.
Yeah.
Okay. That kid felt like he had the entire weight of the world crashing down around him. He was quoted as saying that he let his academy down, he let the Army down, he let his family down, he let his brothers down.
Yeah.
Now, as far as I know, the Navy running back, he's like a sophomore or a junior, so he'll come back. Neither Navy nor Army qualified for bowls this year. Air Force did, so congrats. David, I gifted you tickets to the Armed Forces Bowl along with a parking pass. You're welcome.
You're not going?
No, I'm not going. I don't have a dude. Okay, I'm driving up to Wichita this Friday to pick up my kids,
Oh.
and then we've got family coming in. So the parking pass is yours. The tickets are yours.
I gotta figure out how to get that, and you can show me when we're off.
You have to download the AXS app.
I got the app.
Yeah. So you go down to the bottom and you'll see like tickets.
Okay.
And it'll be your digital tickets.
Oh, okay.
And you just have them scan the QR code on your phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Guess I'm going to that myself. Yeah, it was really funny because someone asked me.
No. Have Chris, because Chris should be back from Montana by then. It would be a welcome distraction for him. Take your dad.
How many tickets did you give me?
I sent you 4.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay.
So that is my gift from you, or to you. Merry Christmas and happy Commander-in-Chief trophy. See, I can be a gracious person whenever things don't come out my way.
I know. I love you for it.
Okay, so
I'll ask him
now. Yes, I mean the Navy Navy running back Anton Hall Jr. I mean, dude, they showed him collapsing on the sidelines, crying. He buried his face. I mean, he was inconsolable at that point. I mean, when you get to the Naval Academy, all they talk about is beat Army. When you get to West Point, all they talk about is beat Navy. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's in the welcome packets. That's on the walls everywhere. Right? Had Hall scored that touchdown, Navy most likely would have won that game.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I mean, but that ball coming out, and even after the replays, it was even more clear that it came out because I thought that they had just stopped him. And then I saw the nose of the ball a little bit further away from the player than I thought it should have been. And I am hobbling, jumping up and down on my good knee, yelling, "The ball's out, the ball's out, the ball's out." Dude, I am getting in it, right?
Yeah. Me and Kenny do the same thing. It was fun because they were trying to pull these guys off as best as possible.
I mean,
figure out where the ball, who has control of it.
Yeah. And when that one referee, the side judge, comes over and he points at Army. Oh, I'm like, oh my God.
Did you get Oak?
Dude, we are talking California sequoia, redwood, baby. All right. Old growth forest type, good old fashioned hardwood when 2x4s were actually 2x4s, right? I mean, and then I mean, and you know, it's like, okay, so now it's Navy's ball. I mean, Army's ball. This is the second overtime. You know, it's like, okay, not only do we get the first overtime, but we're getting 2 overtimes here. And I'm like, oh my God. Um, Quinn Marteski, Matt Marzaretsky or something like that. I cannot pronounce the kid's last name, and I'm so sorry. He comes in a 39-yard field goal. That's all he needed, right? Just to make it safe. And I mean, I'm sitting there trying. I'm trying. I'm like, I've got Chauncey, I've got my oldest son on FaceTime. He's streaming the game, so he's like 15 seconds behind me. And I could not contain myself. As soon as the ball went through those uprights, dude, I am screaming, we are singing second. And he was just like giving me the big finger because he's like, man, thanks. You spoiled it for me. You know, and then the kick goes up and he's like, yeah, there it is, you know. But I mean, I'm jumping up and down, I'm yelling, I'm screaming, dude. I'm on the verge of tears because I'm just like, dude, this is the one game out of the entire year, out of all the football that is played, this is the one game that I actually care about.
Yeah, I'm the same with you. I could care less about the Super Bowl. I'll still go to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I know that we're doing a bang up job of our NFL coverage this year, but being a baseball guy, I legitimately and genuinely every year look at the Super Bowl as a speed bump that I have to get over to get to spring training. I mean, that's just the facts. But I mean, yeah, it just, I mean, the Navy coach, Coach Tulalulu. I know I'm butchering his name. I mean, dude, he couldn't even watch it. He just leaned over with his hands on his knees and just had his head down. He couldn't even watch the winning field goal.
Mm.
You know, the Navy running back is crying. I mean, he's inconsolable on the sidelines, and understandably so.
Yeah, this whole game was freaking emotional.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I'm sitting there going, okay, Navy's up because they blocked the punt, and just that high line, you know, that high wire balancing act that the Navy or Army defender had to pull off to keep the ball in the end zone to keep himself from going out of bounds. I'm like, oh, this is so awesome. And the Navy comes back, they kick a field goal, and then they come back in the third quarter and they go up 10-7 by scoring a touchdown. And then Army ties it in the fourth quarter with a field goal. You know, we're going into overtime, tied up at 17. And I'm just like, oh my, or I mean, tied up at shit, 13. Was it 13?
No, it was
No,
like
it was 17. No, it wasn't. It was anyway, no, it was tied up at 10, I think. Yeah, tied up at 10 apiece. Because it was 10-10 at the end of regulation, right? Because Army scored on a busted running play in overtime to go up, right? It was like a 26-yard play.
yeah, it was 10-10.
Yeah.
It was
And then
10 and
the Navy gets the ball back, and then there's blown coverage, and it's like the easiest reply. They score a touchdown, and then it's 17 all. We're going into the second overtime. Navy gets the ball to start the second overtime. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna because in the second overtime, they have to convert on a 2-point conversion to score the extra points after a touchdown. So
Yeah,
You
because
know,
looking at the score, it was 10-10 in overtime. Both of them
yeah,
scored again, and
yeah.
on the
Army scored.
scored
Army scored
three.
twice in the overtime with their 10 points. It was a touchdown on a field goal, but um, I mean, dude, I'm just sitting there going, oh my God. I mean, Navy still leads this series 64 to 50, 62, 54, and 7. So this game has ended in a tie 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, but I mean, they still have like a 9-game lead over the Army. So I mean, it's and a large portion of that is because of that 12, 13-year winning streak that they had back in the early 2000s. Sorry, that started back in the early 2000s. But you know, I'm just like, oh my God, dude. I mean, now bear in mind, my dad is retired Navy, so he and I don't watch the game
Together.
together. Now it's on our bucket list to go see the game in person, but my dad has said, and I quote, "We'll fly and stay at the same hotel, but we are not sitting on the same side of the. We're sitting on opposite sides of the stadium." I was like, "Okay, I'm okay with that." You know, I
That's a
fucking
lot
you.
of people's bucket list. Everybody's bucket list is like different, but the main thing, if you're a football fan, it's the Army Navy game. Everybody loves going at the Army Navy game.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, one would think that I would be pulling for Navy at least a little bit because I mean the Navy put food on my family's table for, you know, fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
And but no, no. My mom pulls for the Navy because she's a Navy wife. My sister my youngest of my 2 sisters pulls for the Navy because, well, she's a Navy brat. And I'm just like, okay, that's lost on me. You know, my brother pulls for the Army because, you know, he signed up, you know, he joined the National Guard. But, you know, me, my oldest son, you know, my 2 youngest sons, my wife, you know, I mean, we're an Army family. And, you know, it's, I mean, because, you know, everybody's like, oh, well, did you go to these schools? Well, no, but I have a dog in that hunt. And so does every veteran that served for those respective services. Right. I mean, we're talking bragging rights here.
Yeah, that I mean, that was that. I mean, you get a whole year of bragging rights. I mean, they have commercials for this stuff. I mean, you
Yeah. I
find
mean,
what
units make
the
make
unit
spirit messages.
they change their uniform just for this game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, NASCAR drivers come out with these like cool one-off paint schemes for different races and things like that. No, fam. For the last 123 years, the Army and Navy have put aside special uniforms for this game.
Yeah.
But now, I dug the Navy uniforms. I mean, especially the
I didn't
helmets.
hit
They're
it.
all airbrushed. They you know, there was a tribute to the Navy Naval Academy graduates that went on to become astronauts, right?
Okay. That makes sense now.
I love the Army response, right? They're like, they're sitting there going, man, that is so kind of Navy to really show us support and give the Army astronauts a shout out there, right? Because I mean, they're the astronaut badge, in addition to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier
Yeah.
Guard. The astronaut badge is the second least awarded badge in the Army behind the Old Guard.
Holy crap.
Yeah, there are more Army soldiers who have become astronauts than there are who have become um,
Old guard.
Old Guard for the Tomb of the Unknown.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Fuck. Damn.
Okay,
That.
so and the Tomb of the Unknown award is the only one in the military that can be taken away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the description of it.
Like
Of
you can't have any tattoos,
you can't
you
have
know,
tattoos.
no criminal records. I mean, you have to be clean.
You can't cuss and you can't drink.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very high thing. But and what's even better is that there was an Army and Navy astronaut on the International Space Station this year. Did you see that part?
What?
On the International Space Station. Two of the astronauts are service members. One's from the Army and one's from the Navy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Army made sure that the Navy or that the Army astronaut got this year's Army Navy jersey. The Navy astronaut had to wear an old jersey from a previous game. So I'm like, who's taking care of who, right?
Yeah. That game's on the 22nd.
What is?
The Armed Forces one. Oh, it's on.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got my orthopedic appointment the day before, and I've got my boys here. We got family coming in. There's just no way. Trust me, dude, you are gonna have a hell of a time at that game. It's gonna give you that whole warm, fuzzy feeling. Like this is, one of those times where you get to feel all like high speed, low drag for, a few minutes.
Yeah.
But feeling high, like the old saying goes, feeling high speed and low drag, it's like peeing in a pool. You're the only one that feels it, and it doesn't last very long.
No, okay. My dad might go. Here's the problem with my dad going. He's slower than fucking Christmas.
Okay.
But I should be able to make it. My whole plan was
you get down there. Okay, so here's the deal. You get down there early. Okay. Hang out by the car, do whatever you want for a little bit, and then you start making your way towards the towards the midway, because they've got displays and stuff like that. I wouldn't necessarily try to get as much free shit as I possibly could, because let's face it, AAFES is there and they're giving away little swag bags, and
I don't care. I love swag bags.
Or then go get you an AAFES swag bag.
There?
Lockheed Martin obviously has a display there. They got some cool stuff that's going on, but then they start opening up the gates to let people in, into Amon G. Carter Stadium. I would start making my way over there, because you'll start hearing people talk about, well, just go find yourself an event attendant and ask them when they're going to start opening the gates for admission, and then just make your way over there. Now, what I did and what I do every time that I've gone and Army has been there to play, I've been to the game 5 times. I've seen Army play 4 of those, right? Go to as you're walking in, you're going to want to walk to the left, because if that's the side where Air Force is at, if Air Force manages to pull off the win in this game, okay, you'll be able to sneak onto the field. I've taken the field with Army the last 2 times that I've gone.
You also stole some gloves.
I mean, last time, and it wouldn't. Yeah, it was the last time that. So who was it that they were playing? They were playing, I think it was Michigan State, right? A couple years ago, and the Army won on a last second field goal. That's how I got these bad boys.
Oh, wow.
I got these gloves from one of the seniors. To me, that's just too cool. I love that. But, yeah, but Army pulls out the win 20-17. And dude, I'm telling you, I mean, I sat down finally after a few, probably about 10 minutes of jumping around and hooping and hollering. And I'm telling you what, man, I was absolutely emotionally exhausted, because that game was an absolute roller coaster. But it was one of the best. It was one of the better Army Navy games that I can remember seeing for the last few years. I mean, I legitimately mean that. But so I do plan on getting one of the jerseys from this year's Army Navy game. And Yeah, so I'm gonna slowly start to metamorphosize my backdrop to include a lot of army football stuff. I may even try to get me a West Point baseball jersey. That'd be kind of neat, you know. But anyways, um,
That's gonna be some fucked up news.
talking about Mike Leach.
Oh, Chris. I asked him if he was gonna be if he's gonna be able to go to the armed forces post. He's like, doubtful. I'm up here indefinitely.
Oh wow, yeah. I just sent him a text message today. Told him if he needed anything, even if it was just a phone call, just to holler at me.
Yeah.
But let's move on from the Army and Navy game and try to rearrange my windows here. All right. There is some news for the NFL that we'll kind of get into. I want to start off. Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach died today, I think it was, at the age of 61. He put out a message that he wasn't going to be unable to make a function or go to, attend, be able to make Mississippi State's bowl appearance, I think it was, because he was having personal health problems.
Yeah.
Turns out that he had a stroke and a heart attack while he was at his home. And he succumbed to those today. So he's leaving a program in better shape than he found it. Anybody who ever had any contact with Mike Leach always had the highest of praises. He even had a television appearance on the show Friday Night Lights. He affected a lot of people. He coached at Texas Tech, Washington State. I mean, he and the funny thing is, the guy was an absolute titan as it related to his football IQ, as far as being a head coach. I mean, the guy went to law school, never spent one day in the courtroom as a lawyer. Graduated law school, decided he wanted to coach football. He never played a single day of college football. But that's where he made his mark.
So he's one of those people that ended up becoming like
a lot like right, like a lot like Captain Tipton, who left an indelible mark on my life. Mike Leach, for all appearances, intents and purposes, comes across as to be that kind of a person that if you had any contact with him, he was the kind of person that you wanted to be when you grew up.
Yeah.
And so I mean, people like that, I don't want to say it's a generational thing. You see them every once in a while. I mean, they're out there. You've got to find them, and they've got to be put. God's got to put them in the right places at the right time. And for everything that I've read, everything that I've seen, everything that I've heard, Coach Leach, I mean, hats off to you, sir. Rest in peace. But I mean, he sounded and looked, and all of the video that I've seen of him, he was one of those people. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his wife, his family, definitely the players that he's affected, the people in his life. I mean, his effect is going to be felt for generation or two at the very minimum. Because the lessons that he taught impacted somebody and changed their trajectory in life, and they may think, oh, I need to be a coach to where I can continue and I can expand that message that Coach Leach imprinted on my heart, kind of a thing. I mean, like I said, he was one of these people that if you had anything to do with him, if he was a part of your journey or part of your story, when you grow up, you wanted to be just like him. So, um, again, thoughts and prayers for his family. And, I mean, especially coming up toward the Christmas holidays, and from personal knowledge, this is a really rough time of year to lose anybody. But, yeah, I mean, especially, I mean, it seemed like it just kind of came out of nowhere. So, but, much like, much like anything else, the show must go on, and life has to continue. I know it sounds cold and callous, but the funny thing about the way the world is, the way the world was constructed and designed by God is that it doesn't matter how crappy of a day you're having, the sun's always going to set and it's going to rise the next day. So, for those of us who aren't able to, that are able to wake up on the right side of the dirt, we need to get up, and, we need to keep putting one foot in front of the other, range walk you left, so, moving on to the NFL news. Man, that this was actually a really good weekend. Thursday. Oh yeah. Let me get into that. Hold on.
What is that? 98-yard touchdown, basically.
Something like that. Yeah. So we had the Rams. It was a 98-yard drive.
Yeah, 98-yard drive. That's right.
Yeah. So we had the Rams picked to beat the Raiders, because with as disjointed as the Rams were, I believed even less in what the Raiders were doing. Yeah. Okay.
And they pulled off a
And for the longest time, for the biggest portion of this game, right up until the point where Baker Mayfield, who had 5 minutes in the organization, he was picked up 5 days before the game after he was released by the Carolina Panthers. This man was out there playing parking lot football, and he didn't know shit about the playbook. And he's out there slinging this ball around, throwing absolute dots and dimes. I mean, this is what happens when Baker Mayfield actually has an offensive line that will block for him.
Yeah.
Okay. You give this man time and he will kill you. Right. When I made the pick of picking the Rams over the Raiders, they had not yet picked up Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. We were up on the week, and it was more or less like, oh, they might pick up Baker Mayfield. They don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there was rumblings. There was also rumblings that he might go to San Francisco.
Yeah.
But be that as it may.
Think of Rams.
Our first pick of the week, pulled off by a miracle, was correct. We had the Rams over the Raiders, and the Rams beat the Raiders 17-16 on Thursday Night Football. Contrary to the recent trend, Thursday Night Football has normally been boring this year. This was an exciting game.
Yes, this whole weekend was excitement.
Next, we had the Bills beating the Jets at home. Not only did the Jets get defeated by the Bills in Buffalo, their quarterback got folded in half. Did you see video of that hit?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Okay, dude. Bam.
I got to check this out. Hold on.
So the Bills are now 10-3. The Jets are now 7-6. And the team who has first place in the first round of the next year's NFL draft, still firmly at this point in the season, is the Houston Texans. But we'll get into that in just a minute. I'm waiting for you to catch up and see that video.
Okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and
okay, so moving on to the next game. We had the Bengals over the Browns. Browns coming in with a chip on their shoulder. The Bengals figuring out that they know how to play football. Beat the Browns 23-10. So that's our first 3 picks were correct. Then we had the Cowboys hosting the Houston Texans, the 1-10-1 Houston Texans. for a while there, I thought that the Cowboys were going to figure out a way to start their yearly season-ending choke early and somehow snatch defeat from the jaws of victory from an otherwise inept Houston Texans team. Cowboys turned it up in the fourth quarter and ended up going ahead and beating the Texans 27-23. I'm just like, damn, y'all. I mean, they're still trailing the Eagles by 2 games. But there's still a couple of weeks left in the season, so the Dallas Cowboys have somewhat of a hope. They're probably most likely going to end up clinching a playoff spot as a wild card. But I really don't see the Eagles faltering down the stretch and giving up the division lead. I mean, especially because I know that they've got to play the Cowboys one more time. But then we're moving on to the Vikings going to Detroit. I picked the Lions over the Vikings. I had a feeling about this game. And the two of you and our absent friend Chris, both looked at me like I was speaking Russian. Like I was outside my mind. Like I was absolutely and utterly retarded. Didn't you?
Oh shit. Hold on. Hold on. I finally found one.
Okay.
He got demolished. Oh fuck. He went like 4 to 5 feet.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about the Vikings and the Lions right now. You guys looked at me like I was stupid whenever I picked the Lions, didn't you?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Because the Lions haven't done anything really.
But the Lions have won their last 5 games.
Yeah. Well, I'm still off the Cowboys stuff when they win a lot of games and everything, and then they like pull the.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I am by no stretch of the imagination a Lions believer at this point. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I'm not going to go out and get me an Axel Foley Letterman's jacket. But I picked the Lions to upset the Vikings, the division leading Vikings. The Vikings are now 10-3 because they went into Detroit and picked up the L at the tune of 34-23. That was the upset pick of the week, and I nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So to this point, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5-0 on our picks for the weekend, right? Then I had the Eagles beating the Giants, which they did, 48-22. No surprise there. So now we're 6-0 for the week. Then we had the Ravens going into Pittsburgh, and the Ravens. We had the Ravens pick to beat the Steelers. That happened. 16-14 over the Steelers. We're now 7-0 for the week. Then we pick up our first L. I had the Titans over the Jaguars. The Jaguars go into Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee, and beat the Titans, the division leading Titans.
Yeah.
36-22. I'm like, what the hell happened there? So we're now 7-1, right?
Yeah. We actually had a good picks this week.
We did. And then we had the Chiefs over the Donkeys. They're looking a little sketchy there. Then the Donkeys got a little ahead of themselves and started talking that shit. And what did Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs do? They poured it on and won 34-28. They went up in that hole.
Yeah, that game weirded me out because I was looking at
I'm sitting there going, what am I watching here? This isn't right. And then as soon as they pulled ahead, they didn't look back.
Yeah.
So we're back on the winning side. We're now 8-1 for the week. Let me see here. And then we had the Seahawks beating the Panthers, which you would have thought, okay, that's a pretty safe bet. Well, we're now 8-2 for the week because the Panthers go into Seattle and beat the Seahawks 30-24. Then we pick up our second consecutive L. I had Tom Brady and the Buccaneers going into San Francisco and beating the 49ers. At this point, Buccaneers aren't even going to make the playoffs. I mean, unless they get in on a wild card, they are not making the playoffs, son. They lost to the 49ers 7-35. Now, interesting.
I didn't
note,
get to catch. I watched like
interesting to note here. Tom Brady is a free agent at the end of this year. There's a lot of rumors
that he is at his 3
There are a lot of rumors that he is going to head to San Francisco to become their quarterback. There's also some rumblings. I don't know if it's still holding any water or not. I don't know if it's any, overzealous Patriot fans or not. But there have been rumors that Tom Brady will re-sign with the Patriots and play his last year there.
I mean,
don't know.
I mean,
But when I saw something today that made a lot of sense.
He got rid of his wife, so he might wife might have said, "Oh, let's move down to Florida." Oh wait, we're breaking up. Well, I might go back to the Patriots.
But here's the thing. The San Francisco 49ers have a defense that is stout. Okay. And he's got a lot of offensive weapons to choose from if he goes to the 49ers. Tom Brady might actually make a good, solid run at becoming a member of the 49ers to finish out his career and make a serious run for another Super Bowl.
I mean,
if he does that, I mean, he's already cemented his legacy as being the GOAT, right? And he's got more Super Bowls, more Super Bowl wins, more Super Bowl MVP titles than anybody. He's got almost every passing record imaginable with his name attached to it.
He pretty much has doesn't he have like almost
I mean, once he actually hangs him up for good and stays away from the field for 5 years, he is a surefire first ballot Hall of Fame inductee.
He's gonna be, he's gonna be the freaking Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, I mean it's no doubt, but
if he doesn't get it the first
if he doesn't get it the first year,
better be like on a ventilator, half dead.
If he doesn't get in on his first try, somebody or a group of riders have a serious vendetta. It's either that or the NFL has pushed this really, this black ops campaign to get him out of the hall kind of a deal. But
you would have to do like completely.
Yeah, I mean, all that aside, I mean, hands down, unequivocally, it's unanimous. I mean, he's going to get in. Okay, but he may play for another 2 or 3 years. I have no idea. I mean, now that he's not tied down with a seemingly overbearing wife, I'm going to take this off because just like the old K-pots and the ACHs, the steel pots, they hurt after a while.
Yeah.
So I need a haircut. Anyways, I think that's half of it, is the fact that there's too much hair on this head right now. And I mean, you can see, if you can see it, see the line from the sweatband.
Yeah, I can see it.
This is where the scalp starts. But yeah, I mean, Tom Brady, there's absolutely no doubt that he's going to get in the Hall of Fame. He's going to Canton. I mean, Peyton Manning just got his nod to go to the Football Hall of Fame this week. So, hey, good on Peyton Manning. Very deserving.
Been more than 5 years?
Peyton Manning's been retired for probably for 5 years now. Yeah,
I thought it was more than that.
It's felt like it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we had our third consecutive L for the week. So we're 8-4 for the week. To this point, we had the Dolphins beating the Chargers in Los Angeles. Dolphins go in there and they lose 17-23. I don't know what's going on with the Chargers. I mean, it's like, as soon as you count them out, they decide, oh, we're going to show up and play that day.
And they're probably in our message board and everything. They're like, oh, these guys think we're gonna lose this week.
I as much as I would love to think that we're motivation fodder for their for their whiteboard, I highly doubt it.
I highly.
But hey, if any member,
if
if any athlete on any NFL team, I don't even care if you're on the practice squad, and you're listening to this podcast and you think that I've said something that has diminished your team, by all means, message us, inbox us. Hell, you could come at me on Twitter at old NFS Grunt or on my TikTok page, SocksDaddy77. I don't care. Come at me, come at the show. We'll have you on. And then I want you to vehemently to defend the seemingly rank ineptitude that your team has displayed at some point during the season to warrant those comments made by me. Anyways, we're at 8-4 for our picks for the week, but we go out on a good note because I had the Patriots picked to beat the Cardinals in Arizona. That happened at 27-13. Now, in this game, Kyler Murray, he tore his ACL during the game. I think it was like the third play from scrimmage or something like that. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was early. It was. Yeah, it was early on in the game, but it was a non-contact place. I mean, he was running upfield and he goes to make a cut, and there was something about the way his leg planted, and you saw his knee shift a little bit. He tore his ACL, and he goes down, done for the season. Ladies and gentlemen, if we've got any listeners from Graham, Texas, your boy Colt McCoy has been named starter for the Arizona Cardinals for the rest of the season. So Colt McCoy of Graham Steer fame, of Texas Longhorn fame, and NFL journeyman. His career has landed him in Arizona, and he's filling in for the now injured Kyler Murray for the rest of the season. Murray, I mean, this year, he signed a 5-year, $230.5 million extension with Arizona at the beginning of the season. And he can't even finish out the first year of his contract. So,
that's sad. But that happens more than you think.
Yeah.
NFL. Because a lot of people think that as soon as you make it to the NFL, you're gonna finish out your contract, you're gonna do all this, and I've talked to even MLB players, baseball players. They don't most of the time they don't finish their contract because of poor play once they get to the big show.
Yeah, but so we're going to move into our picks for next week. Now, unlike last week, I didn't pre-prepare these just because I was dealing with one of those really nice migraines that the Army blessed me with. But
it's the weather.
Well, it is the back and forth. I know up in Wichita Falls. I know that up in Wichita Falls, it's supposed to get down, like the wind chill is supposed to be like into the negative teens on Friday.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's also the fact that like today we had a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Some tornadoes that went through the DFW area. Tore that place up, dude.
Yeah. No, it's like right now. If you're watching on YouTube and you keep on seeing me yawning, I was up at 3:00 in the morning because my bladder started to go. And usually, you go use the restroom, you go back to bed. Then some idiot decided to knock on my door at 3:00 in the morning. And I live in a neighborhood that if you're knocking on someone's door at 3:00 in the morning, someone's messing up. So I grabbed my utility belt and went to the door. They were like, "Oh, we thought it was somewhere else." I was like, I literally, this is how I answered the door. I'm like, hand behind my back. Hey,
Right.
what's going on? Oh, you're not. I was like, yeah, I'm not so and so. So my heart was pumping. I didn't get to sleep until like
Yeah.
it was literally 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get to sleep until like 4, and I woke up.
Well, for the last week or so, my body has just decided that it was time for me to get up at 3 o'clock. I'd lay there for another hour and a half before I go back to sleep.
Dude, I was tossing. I think the good Lord, I didn't have anybody in the bed with me because I was flopping and I was flopping like a freaking fish.
Dude, think how my wife feels. I'm
It's
tossing and turning
like
and I
that.
can't get comfortable. Dude, I have to sleep with a body pillow between my legs just to keep my knee propped up.
Yeah. And at that
You know,
point,
so I'm
in
just
time,
like, I'm like,
that's why if I ever hopefully one day get another significant other and everything, I make sure because my last wife, I made sure I had a good couch. She's like, why did you make sure you had a good couch? You think you're gonna sleep on it all the time and everything to get away from me? It's like, no. If I get restless in bed, and at the time we had a waterbed, so that was the world's worst thing to actually have.
oh my God, yes. Now they've got the waveless ones where it's a bladder inside of a foam shell. But I'm just like,
Even that, no.
yeah, even that. Like, in me, I like to rub my feet together like a fucking sexy cricket
Yes.
in the bed.
Yes.
Dude, I start doing that. My wife will roll over and she'll be like half asleep. She'll be like, you please stop moving your feet. I'm like, I'm sorry. So I'm laying there trying to resist the urge to do this with my feet. You know, I'm just like,
Where
well,
does that come from?
I don't know,
I
man.
have no
Like,
idea because
I
I do
really
the same
don't.
thing.
So I'm just laying there and I'm like, I can't watch TikTok videos because I got to have the sound on. So I'm just sitting there playing solitaire with my phone on mute. You know, I don't get it. All right. So we're going to move into the picks for this coming weekend. Thursday night's game is going to be the 49ers at the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Niners over the Seahawks just because, I mean, the 49ers, dude, they put on a pretty good show against the Patriots. They got their boat going in the right direction. Their offensive weapons are starting to come together, and everybody's starting to click on the same page. Their defense is playing next level right now. So we're going to take the Niners over the Seahawks on that one. We've got the 4-8-1 Colts visiting the 10-3 Vikings. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to give the Vikings the benefit of the doubt on this one. We're going to take them over the Colts.
I'm not saying anything because
we're taking the Vikings over the Colts.
Okay. I'm just letting you know right now. This is the only interruption I'm going to do because I want this done fast this time. Because last time it was done fast and sweet last time, and you weren't all but hurt like you were last couple of episodes because you're looking.
Dude, I was having a little bit of no. Let me finish. Let me in my defense. I was menstruating that day, so.
Dude, last time I got those kind of eyes, I almost got stabbed a couple of times for my ex-wife. Okay.
I was not having the best of days that day,
Oh,
so I want to apologize. Okay.
Fucking next time, take a fucking Midol.
I will.
Either A, people are gonna say is like, oh man, they must be like really, really good friends, or B, or it's like they used to be married.
D, none of the above. So
You had to go for the D.
Right. Docking. For the D for docking. Wow. Okay. We're taking the Ravens over the Browns on this one. I know the Browns have been putting up some points lately, and I know that the Ravens, I mean, they're the Ravens, but I'm not really sold on the Browns. Never have been, never will be. I think the Ravens are going to take this one. I'm not going to say handedly, but they are going to take it. And then we're moving up north. It's going to be an AFC East matchup with the Dolphins facing off against the Bills. We're taking the Bills over the Dolphins on that one. And then we're going to go, and those are our Saturday games. So the last three games, Indianapolis, Minnesota,
Saturday
Baltimore,
game started in
Cleveland.
playoffs.
No, they're just Saturday games. I think because they're trying to get the games in. Because next week is Christmas. It's going to be a short week for a few teams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's 3 Saturday games this week. And it's the last 3 games we talked about: Minnesota, Cleveland, and Buffalo. But and then we're going to move into our slate of Sunday games. Interesting to note that, like it was a couple of weeks ago, nobody has a bye week this week. So we have a full slate of games on Sunday. The NFL has a chance to really put a dent in our win-loss record for picks this week, or this coming weekend. So I say bring it on. We've got the Falcons at the Saints. I hate to say that this is a battle of mediocrity, but I mean, neither one of these teams have a winning record. They're not, I mean, the Saints, they're all but mathematically eliminated from the playoffs anyway, with sitting at 4-9.
Guess
I'm going to take the.
Sorry.
My buddy Zach Medford would love this. I'm going to take the Falcons over the Saints.
Okay. Hey, you know that guy from Drag Up Coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in Mongolia. Or not Mongolia. What the fuck, Texas? It's above Houston.
Madagascar?
No. Is it Madagascar? Magnolia.
Angola? Or
Yeah.
Angola?
Yeah.
Okay. What's he doing there?
That's where he lives.
Really?
Yeah.
Angola?
Yeah. That's
Angola,
where
Texas?
yes.
Okay.
It's
Awesome. I'm thinking like overseas. I'm like, well, why? Anyways,
no,
moving on.
it's north of Houston.
Yeah, I know where Angola, Texas is. I'm gonna have to drive by it coming up 45. Anyways, we've got Pittsburgh going into Carolina to play the Panthers. I mean, this one could go either way. I'm going to give the Panthers the nod on this one.
Since
I mean, because they were able to go in and they were able to win their game last week, and we didn't even have them picked. They should have lost last week, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with them this week. We've got the Eagles going into Chicago. Unfortunately, Fly Eagle Fly is going to be played again. I really want to take the L on that pick. I really want Chicago to win, but I know that for the sake of posterity, Philadelphia's probably going to handle that game pretty easily. And we got Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs coming into town this weekend to play the Texans. We're taking the Chiefs on that one. I mean the Texans. I mean, come on. It's the Texans. Just saying.
Just make sure your wife isn't in earshot, huh?
She doesn't like the Texans. She's a Cowboys fan.
Oh, okay.
I mean, she likes the Houston Rockets and she likes the Houston Astros.
Well, 1 out of 3 isn't bad. For
I mean, I don't hate the Astros. I'm not a Rockets fan, definitely not a Texans fan. I mean,
I think
I
either
mean, her JV team, her number 2 team is the Red Sox. Cause I mean, she married into the nation. So there's that. But yeah, no, she's a Cowboys fan. She's one of God's whipping children. So I'm just going to put that out there. Yeah. She's not even redheaded. So go figure.
Yeah.
Next we got the Cowboys going to Jacksonville to play the Jaguars. Jaguars, they went into Tennessee and they kind of upset the Titans there at their home place, but the Cowboys are going to be going on the road to play Jacksonville this week. I'm taking the Cowboys on this one just because the Cowboys offense, dude, they've scored an average of 30 or more points over the last 6 or 7 games. They've got, I mean, they've got
Were you screaming?
I mean, their offense is off the charts, dude. I mean, their offense is ranked number 1 in a lot of categories.
Yeah, that I mean, that's what I said last year when we started this nerd sports stuff. Is the basic fact when it goes to Super Bowl, it's usually it's the number 1 defense against the number 1 offense.
Usually. But just like baseball, man, it's whoever gets hot and whoever starts clicking at the right time.
Once the playoffs hits and everybody start I mean,
look at this year's World Series. Look at this year's World Series. The Philadelphia Phillies were the absolute last seed in the NFL. I mean, in the National League. They were the number 9 seed from the National League, and they got hot. Their bats started clicking. Their pitching staff started doing what they needed to do, and they made it all the way to the World Series. They took the Astros to Game 6.
Yeah.
So were they necessarily the best team at the time? No. I mean, all year long? Absolutely not. They were under 500 a month, like a month and a half out. I mean, they got hot at the right time to make the playoffs. Then they got even hotter to get through the playoffs. But, you know.
Hold on. Is this a moment for my new button?
Go for it.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
There you go. Okay, so here's the problem with the Dallas Cowboys is that they do great all year long. Okay. And then they start to kind of simmer off towards the end of the regular season. Sometimes they back into the playoffs. And by that, what I mean is they usually end the regular season on a loss kind of a deal, right? And you know, they choke in the playoffs, you know, for whatever reason. And I don't know why. I mean, that's why there's the joke is that what's the first thing that Cowboys fans does? What's the first thing that a Cowboy fan does after they watch their team winning the Super Bowl? Well, they take the VHS. They take the VHS tape out of the VCR and put it back in its protective case. Because the last time that the Cowboys won a Super Bowl, the highlight film came out on fucking VHS.
I wonder if the highlight film's on YouTube. And they put
I'm sure it is now because somebody had to digitize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're not going to have 4K high definition film like some of our most recent winners do. Okay.
It's true.
All that aside, my concern with the Cowboys is they're putting all of these points on the board. They're showing a lot of their playbook to a lot of the teams that they're going to most likely face in the playoffs. You know, I mean, because whether they choose to acknowledge it or not, if the Cowboys do well enough in the playoffs, most likely they will face the Philadelphia Eagles for the 3rd time this year. That is the one team that anybody is worried about coming out of the NFC.
Because
the Eagles
have had some choppy bits and everything, but
they had one bad game.
Yeah,
they're 12-1 right now.
Yeah.
They've got a 2-game lead over everybody else in the NFC East. Now, granted, the NFC East is the only division of football where all 4 teams are above 500. But with the Giants being in there at 7-5-1, that's not saying a whole lot. Because I mean, the Giants are playing like absolute crap right now. But all that aside, we're going to pick the Cowboys over the Jaguars. Now we've got the Lions at the Jets. I'm going to pick the Lions again, and I'm going to tell you why. Like I've stated, the Lions have won their last 5 games. The Lions are surprising a lot of people. They're believing that they can win these games. If the Lions can go on a run, it's very possible, and it's a remote chance, but it's a very possible chance that the Detroit Lions might even see postseason football this year.
Okay, there we go.
So,
yeah,
I mean,
that was okay. I'm looking at it now. The top NFL teams for right now. I was wondering who third was, and third was the one I thought it was going to be, the Buffalo Bills.
yeah,
That's another team that a lot of people are surprised about this year.
yeah. Well, I mean, for a lot of people that have been watching Josh Allen play football, I mean, the guy. I mean, aside from the Buffalo Bills teams of the '90s, this team for the last few seasons has given the Buffalo or the Bills Mafia a lot of reason to believe. Um, they're getting a lot of attention across the country. I mean, throughout the league, period. And I mean, it's just they've got a good quarterback. They've got a good defense. And, I mean, their receiver core is one of the best in the league. I, I mean, I'm not saying that they've got the complete package. I mean, because obviously right now the record is still 10-3, but so is the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, haters for both teams are going to dissect those records and dissect where those teams are at this point in the season and throw a number of excuses, anywhere from strength of schedule to, the refs handing the games to them, kind of a deal. Cowboys Nation, I highly caution you. Don't let yourself get caught up in the we dem boys portion of your season. Wait until we get at least one win in the playoffs this year under our belt before you start chanting we dem boys. In fact, I would probably just even hold off until the Cowboys lift the Lombardi trophy. That might be helpful. Um, I'm not gonna coronate the I'm not gonna crown the Cowboys as being the Super Bowl winners yet. I mean, I'll probably wait until after the final whistle of the Super Bowl, because the Cowboys, let's just face it, are the Cowboys, and if it's anything like I've seen from the last 14 or 15 years, they seemingly love to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. So, I'm just kind of putting that out there. Like I said, I like the Cowboys. I root for the Cowboys on Sunday, but just the fact of the matter is that, I mean, historically they don't have the best track record in the playoffs. So, moving on, we are going to take the Lions over the Jets, just because I'm buying in to what the Detroit Lions are trying to sell the league right now. I'm selling on the New York Jets. They're on the backside. I mean, their gravity's taking a hold. They're going to be at 7-7 after this weekend. I project that the Jets, they might pull out an 8-8 year, which is technically a winning season. It's 500 football, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them 7-9. I really wouldn't. I mean, I think that the Jets are fully capable of losing the next 3 games. But the next game on the slate is the Cardinals at the Donkeys. That is this week's game of irrelevancy.
Is it another top? See who gets the top.
No, it's not. It's not going to be. It's not going to be one of those games to see who gets the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft. I think that the Texans have that one pretty sewed up. But as far as the Cardinals going into Denver, to play the Donkeys. Again, we're not calling the Donkeys by their proper name until they start showing us that they can win games, and do it consistently. Ooh, as bad as Denver's playing right now, Arizona's playing just as bad. I tell you what, I'm going to flip Perry the Platypus here. If he lands Fedora side up, we're picking the Cardinals. Oh, hold on here. Yeah. Fedora side up.
That
All right,
was so difficult, Johnny.
Well, they kept falling off the damn desk, and I'm like, no, just stay up here. Anyways, it's like doing the bottle flip trick. Anyways, we're gonna take Arizona over Denver on that one. Next, we've got the Patriots at the Las Vegas Raiders. You know where I'm gonna go on this one, right? We're gonna take the Pats over the Raiders.
I thought you were gonna go with the Raiders. Why would you
No.
not go with the Raiders? Raiders are a good team.
The Raiders blew it. I mean, oh my God, the Raiders.
That was me fucking with you, Johnny. You can.
I know, but the Raiders had that game sewed up.
This is true.
They did their best Dallas Cowboys of the early 2000s impression. Well, they did their best Dallas Cowboys in the postseason impression. They snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. I'm just kind of putting that out there. I mean, if the Black Hole or any members of the Black Hole or Raiders Nation is listening, please come at me and try to convince me otherwise. I'm just not sold on the Raiders team. I'm just really not. I'm just really not. We're going to take the Pats over the Rangers on that one. And then we've got the Titans going in to LA to play the Chargers. Both teams are going into this weekend's matchup at 7-6. I'm going to take the Titans on this one. I don't know why. General convention and or general conventional wisdom and common sense dictate that I should go the other way, but I'm taking the Titans on this one. Then we got Cincinnati, the Bengals, going in to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to buck my trend here. See what I'm doing here. Normally I would take Tom Brady, but I'm going to take the 9-4 Bengals to beat Tom Brady and the Buccaneers at
They're number 4. You're not wrong. I mean, surprisingly, since last year, I've never even thought about the not Buccaneers, but the Bengals.
The Bengals.
Yeah,
right.
I've never really
until last year. I mean, when they just seemingly came out of nowhere because they had rookie quarterback Joe Burrow. But I'm sitting there going, okay, all right, well, maybe there's something to this
happening.
guy. Yeah, it's happening. So, and then on top of that, they almost win the Super Bowl last year.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, okay.
It was actually a good
battle. I mean, Tom Brady has absolutely had it with his time in Tampa Bay. The head coach has seemingly no idea what the hell he's doing. He's got just about as much idea of how to be a head coach as Jeff Saturday does of the Indianapolis Colts. So
need Brady back.
I think that Belichick's happy with Mac Jones. I don't really see Tom Brady going back to New England, as much as I know it would make a lot of massholes happy up there. And that's what you call an asshole from Massachusetts, a masshole. That's a term. It's an actual thing.
Okay.
Don't be a masshole. Oh my God, what are you talking about? But yeah, no, Tom Brady's had it. I mean, he doesn't have any help down there. His offensive line is.
They had it for the first. They had it for the first year that he showed up.
I mean, he showed up, dude. Changed the culture in Tampa Bay for the better. And whatever happened in the offseason where Bruce Arians was pushed out as head coach, they brought in this other guy. it just wasn't the same. It just really wasn't the same. So, my advice to Tom Brady, like he needs my advice. I mean, really. Wherever you end up signing next year, leave the front office alone and just play football. Come in and
one
be
of
the
those.
quarterback. Just come in and be the quarterback. That's it.
It's one of
Do
those.
your thing.
It's just a suggestion, Mr. Brady. If you actually listen to this, which
Mr. Brady,
if it comes up, hey,
Mr. Brady, hey, you got some of the cheese from his undersack hanging off your nose.
you
Come on,
wish
dude.
you had this cheese. You wish you had this cheese. That's all I
Nah.
gotta say. You wish you
Anyways.
had this cheese.
Anyways, so we're gonna take Cincinnati to beat the Buccaneers at home in Tampa Bay. Next is the last Sunday. It's the Sunday night game. It's the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants, going into the District of Columbia Commanders, FedEx Field.
Thank you for saying that for me.
You're welcome. Now, oddly enough, both teams are 7-5-1. And where did that one come from? The last time they played each other. I'm not predicting a tie. I'm taking the Commanders over the Giants.
I'm fine with that.
You know, I mean,
I'm not. It's one of those things. It's for me personally. I mean, if we go in with the stats and everything, you would still flip a coin.
yeah. Now, the Monday night game, this is going to be the interesting pick, and I'm going to explain myself. The 4-9 Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions, are not going to the playoffs. There will be a new Super Bowl champion this year. Okay. Having said that, they have a new quarterback in the form of Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield will have had an entire week to learn the entire playbook. But the Rams are going up to Lambeau Field in Green Bay to play the Packers. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are 5-8 this year. They're not going to go anywhere near the playoffs, I don't think.
Holy shit!
So
Keep on going. I don't even see the Giants on this.
are you looking at the power rankings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're number 17. I passed them by. And
We're going to take the we're going to take the Rams over the Packers this week. And the reason why I say that, yeah, the Packers have an elite level. No, I don't want to say elite. They've got a top tier wide receiver. They've still got Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a running game to support him. His offensive line is not helping, and their defense is giving up points left and right, which is explaining their 5-8 record.
I don't know. Green Bay might pull it off.
I don't think so. Not this week. With the showing that Baker Mayfield gave in the fourth quarter without knowing the playbook. Again, like I said at the top of the show, like I said at the beginning of this segment, this is what happens when you give a first overall draft pick time in the pocket. You let him go through his progressions and you let him scan the field, and he will pick that defense apart. As much as I don't like Baker Mayfield for the fact that he went to the University of Oklahoma, this kid knows how to play football. He showed it. That's why he was a Heisman Trophy winner. Okay. Pure, plain, and simple. The offensive line for the Los Angeles Rams gave him time to throw the ball in the fourth quarter last week, and that is why they were able to come back against the Raiders. Okay. Now, you take that and you move him into that spot, move him up on the depth chart to number 1, QB1. You give him a week to learn the plays.
Until the end of the game.
Let me finish. You give him time to learn the plays. You give him time to get reps in during practice with his receivers, with his center. with his tight ends, with his running backs, he is going to get on the same sheet of music as they are. I mean, dude, that looked like they'd been playing together all season long, and he'd only been with the team for 5 days coming into that game last week.
I thought he was in the beginning of the game.
No, nope.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
They didn't want to play him at the beginning of the game because he'd only been there for 5 days. Dude,
Okay.
there are 5-year-olds that know their their Madden NFL playbooks better than Baker Mayfield knew the Rams playbook coming into Sunday last week.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
Okay. But he's had time to study the playbook, to digest the offensive system of Sean McVay. He's had time to get some reps in during practice. I guarantee you he got 100% of the reps during practice this week. Or he will, because this is only Tuesday. Okay. He's going to get those reps in this week. He's going to develop that timing. You know, at this point, he's going to polish the timing that he already displayed that he had with 5 minutes left in the game, give or take, without knowing the playbook.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I mean,
I thought he was like at the end of it.
He's calling plays in the huddle. He's just repeating what's being told to him in his ear.
Okay.
Okay. But he's out there slinging the ball around.
Like, honestly, on that whole thing, because I thought it was like a luck draw, like Romo, when everybody was playing praising Romo when he got on that field because the other quarterback got hurt and he made it on the field, and they're like all praising him and everything.
Yeah, because people
like another
saw
Romo.
It. Well, I don't want to say he's another Romo because I mean, love Tony Romo.
Point status, Romo was good.
Romo was good. His football IQ was off the charts.
Yeah.
Okay. The Dallas Cowboys happened to Tony Romo. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Okay? But Baker Mayfield had an opportunity. I mean, dude, he has had the shittiest of years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
he was on his way out of the league.
Yeah.
He was on his way to becoming more irrelevant than Mark Sanchez was when he was drafted by the New York Jets after winning the Heisman Trophy with the USC Trojans.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about this whole year about Baker Mayfield. We were like trash talking, but we were like, you know, maybe you get him a little bit of defense, maybe he'll pull something out of his ass.
It wasn't so much the defense; it was his offensive line.
Well, yeah,
he wasn't getting any blocking. I mean, the offensive line, dude. The offensive line turned into a sieve in Cleveland. It was an existing sieve that turned into a breached dam in Carolina. Okay. Because Cleveland didn't want him because they were like, oh, we've got Deshaun Watson coming in. I mean, hell, Deshaun Watson tried to show everybody that he learned his lesson by giving himself a massage on the sidelines this week. You know, but, you know, when Baker Mayfield was brought into the game, everybody was like, but then he started dropping dimes, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he was absolutely gotten his receivers.
Every throw that he threw. Okay, that was tough. Every throw. I messed it up as soon as I said it. It was like he laser targeted it.
Dude, yeah. I mean, the guy was spot on. I mean,
he had knocks on. With
he showed the potential. He showed the ability. He showed the skill set that is normally associated with an overall number 1 pick.
Basically,
he showed the skill set that is required for a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Basically, all the teams that gave him up, they're probably going, "Oh, we might have fucked up a little bit."
I mean, the teams that were needing a quarterback. I mean, LA was like, "Look, man, Jared Goff is dog water, dude."
Yeah,
you know, it's like, no, not Jared Goff. Jared Goff went to Detroit. He's the Detroit quarterback. I'm talking about Matt Stafford. I mean, and then this second string guy that they brought in wasn't doing great. I think Stafford's hurt. Anyways, I mean, when Baker Mayfield came in the game, I mean, everybody was like, okay, we're just going to get some reps in, just kind of familiarize them with the playbook. Dude, he brought them back.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about, I mean, there was footage of him shedding tears on the sideline after the game was over because it was like he was able to go out and prove that he still has something. God, I wish we could record that. But I mean, that's why I'm taking the Rams over the Packers this week, because Baker Mayfield showed something. And as long as his offensive line can do that against the Packer defense, which seemingly isn't that hard to do this year, he's going to absolutely pick apart their secondary.
Yeah.
He's going to open up the passing game. And then once Green Bay starts making those adjustments, it's just going to open up the running lanes and they're going to start pounding the football.
Okay.
I mean, I look for the Rams to control the time of possession in this game coming up on Monday night next week. Yeah, I know that's a bold move, but let's see how it plays out for him.
That's one game that I kind of want to see. Just to see what we've got next week.
I'm about to call Colin. So next week, Nerd Sports, Colin will be right here in the studio with me on camera. So let me. All right.
Oh, that was another thing. I was wondering if you wanted to do a Twitter cast. I guess they're called. I mean, we can still record it.
What is up, my guy? Hi. So, I was wearing this for the first half of the show because we're talking about the Army Navy game. Go Army, beat Navy. Was telling everybody that you're going to be in the studio next week. So, looking forward to that. What do you get to do tomorrow? You're going to out Pizza the Hut.
I can barely hear you, man.
David, when he said he's going to out Pizza the Hut, why in my head did I see Pizza the Hut?
Because you're trained. That's why.
No, it's baseball reference.
Yeah, it's a baseball reference.
If you don't come up with our money, pizza's
It's going for you.
In a stunning news, notorious gangster Pizza the Hut walked into his limousine and ate himself to death. Next, movie reviews, Rocky V. How's it? Oh boy. All right. So you ready? Well, okay. So to be fair, Colin, I know that you and I talked about. I didn't bring the dad joke button into the office tonight. Okay, I make you a deal. We can do the dad joke button for one joke next week before you go off and start getting crazy with it. Okay. I just need one joke from you. Or if you've got two, whatever. I know that you've got some material already written up. So while you look that up, I'm going to do your intro. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So here we go.
I can barely hear you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys. You can't hear me?
I can barely hear you.
What about now?
Okay.
Why did my microphone cut out? I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, angry faithful of all ages. Imagine, if you will,
You're transported to a faraway place in a world where nothing seems right, where evil triumphs over good on a daily basis. There shines a light from a mountain valley, from a mountain peak and a valley far, far away. Striding in on the wings of eagles, with chainmail mithril armor, an elven blade, and the power of God and anime by his side. I bring to you your weekly ritual, your reason for listening. Joke time with Colin. That was a good one. All right, go for it, bud.
First off, so sad. I only have one season Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Breaking out into the joke.
Okay.
A girl realizes that she had hair growing between her legs and got worried and asked her mom about the hair. Her mom calmly said the part where the hair is growing is called monkey. Be proud that your monkeys have grown hair. At dinner, she told her sister, "My monkeys has grown hair." Her sister smiled and said, "That's nothing. Mine's already eating bananas."
Oh God. Oh God.
But it's fine.
Did you say you kind of had a stroke during that one?
Yeah, it was a long joke, so I was kind of.
You're stroking out. You smell burnt toast.
God.
Oh,
We're gonna have to
man.
make that
So
joke
again,
shirt.
Programming note for those. Let me see if I can get the microphone to work here. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So again, yeah, man, that was one of my better pictures. Nobody can see that on the screen. Just so that you know, Colin.
Oh my God, this came up too.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, dude. All right, that's what's up. All right, so again, programming note before I do Colin's outro. Nice.
I don't know what it is.
What do you mean? It's my old ruck that I gave you. Yeah. Colin will be on camera in front of a microphone next week for his.
I'm gonna have one. Here, let me.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Let's see.
He's not going to have one.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 5.
Just 5. Okay.
5 jokes.
Colin is going to hit us with a Jokapalooza next week. He's going to have his own stand-up routine. I think we're going to give Colin about. I think we're going to give him like what, 8 minutes?
Try about 6. If it's 5 jokes, if you can do them like that, they don't go that far.
So we give him 10 minutes, 2 minutes a joke.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Okay, Colin, you're going to get an actual stand-up. You're going to get an actual allotment of stand-up routine next week. So Colin, again, we'll be live in the Noah Cullen studio.
Nolan Cullen.
In front of the camera for the world to gaze upon.
No, that's
because hey, Colin, guess what? Our videos are on Spotify now. No. Our shows were on Spotify, but you can watch the videos of our show on Spotify now.
Oh, when you like click on the.
Yeah, when you click on it and you turn the screen sideways or whatever, just like the Joe Rogan Experience. We're getting up in the world. All right, you ready for your outro? Okay. The evil that was seen in this world was slayed, was conquered. Jokes were told. People groaned. People laughed. People shrieked. The evil ran for fear of its immortal life, or rather, fear of being sent to eternity. Colin rushed in. He swooped in, again on the wings of eagles, with mithril armor and armed with elven blades and the power of God and anime on his side. He came, he saw, he kami-kami-ya'd and left. This has been your pleasure, your privilege to experience with your eyes and your ears Joke Time with Colin.
I got a different show.
Yeah, we can go over that on the trip when I pick y'all up on Friday. But Bud, I love you guys. Give your brother a hug for me. I love y'all 3,000, and I will talk to you later. Later, Bud.
And with that, everybody, a Nerd Sports 86.
Yeah, 86.
I think that's about it.
Yeah. I saw a TikTok yesterday or today, actually. It was a side-by-side comparison to the new Starfield game that's supposed to come out from Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed what the graphics were going to look like on the Xbox Series X. Graphics look great. Gameplay just looks seamless. Then it showed what the PlayStation 5 graphics were going to look like, and it was all black because it's not coming out on PlayStation 5.
Oh, God.
Well, because Microsoft owns Bethesda.
Yeah. The console rules. But
yeah, the console wars, yeah.
I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
This is
and yet for another year.
Yeah, we got 2 more.
David, I don't want to hear anything from you.
Okay.
Because we know we've been down that road.
Okay.
Go Army, beat Navy.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening.
Peace, everybody.
Good night.
Catch you